case against Durante is anchored on two things. First, we look at the totality of the circumstances, plus the very good restatement, the extrajudicial confession of Shansan and the other one. And as we evaluate these two extrajudicial confession, nag-interlock sila. So I think we have a very strong case against the mastermind.
That was the Special Investigation Task Group Plaza announcing their findings as to whom is behind the killing of Davao-based model Yvonne Chua Plaza. The details next on the program. From the nation's capital, all sides, all the time, I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. The big story tonight.
Brigadier General Jesus Durante, former chief of the Presidential Security Group, has been identified as the mastermind behind the killing of model Yvonne Plaza.
Authorities say other suspects involved in the killing are members of 1001st Infantry Brigade, which Durante used to head. Arian Calumbiran with the big story.
Brigadier General Jesus Durante has been tagged as the mastermind in the killing of Davao model and businesswoman Yvonne Chua Plaza. The Special Investigation Task Force probing Plaza's death announced this following the surrender of those who were supposedly ordered to carry out the crime. Durante headed the Presidential Security Group of former President Rodrigo Duterte before being assigned as the Philippine Army's 1001st Brigade Commander.
I think we have a very strong case, and we really helped the prosecutor's office. We provided them all the necessary evidence to prove that indeed the person responsible for the death of Yvonne Chua Plaza are the ones we charged in court.
According to the Davao City Special Investigation Task Group, the strike team behind Plaza's killing were personnel of the 1001st Infantry Brigade. In a diagram shown by authorities during a press conference, it was revealed that the conflict between Chua and Durante started when Chua posted on Facebook details of how Durante supposedly abused her. The post was published days before Chua's death. The victim's laptop revealed more information like contact numbers, intimate photos, and email messages she sent to Durante. Investigators say Chua used this information to blackmail the general.
We have the affidavit of our witness saying that the victim has a very sensitive information against General Durante, and she used it to blackmail the respondent.
The investigation showed that Durante ordered 1001st Deputy Commander Michael Licyayo to kill Chua. It was Licyayo who formed the strike team to carry out the kill order. Members of the strike team are Staff Sergeant Gilbert Plaza, who served as team leader, Corporal Adrian Cachero, who served as motorcycle rider, and Sergeant Delphine Shalsa, who served as the gunman. Other personnel used for the operation include Corporal Romart Elongakit, Rolly Cabal, and Noel Hapitan.
Our case against Durante is anchored on two things. First, we look at the totality of the circumstances, plus the very good restatement, the extrajudicial confession of Shansan and the other one.
Plaza and Cachero both submitted an affidavit proving that Licyayo was the one who provided them the gun, equipment, and other details on Chua's location. Recall that Chua was gunned down right in front of her house at Green Meadows subdivision back on December 30. After the killing, gunman Shalsa and rider Cachero took the victim's bag, ID, and credit card. The suspects claimed Licyayo ordered them to burn these items. Hapitan was also ordered to break apart and change the paint of the motorcycle used for the operation. To make way for an impartial investigation into the case, Army Chief Romeo Bronner relieved Durante from his post. Bronner also noted that the killing of Plaza was not a service-sanctioned mission. Arian Calumbiran, We Are One News.
A Philippine Air Force training aircraft crash landed in the middle of a rice field in Bataan this morning, killing its two pilots. Air Force spokesperson Colonel Major Consuelo Castillo said the ill-fated SF-260 aircraft crashed while performing a training flight in Sitio Tabon, Barangay del Rosario in Pilar Town. Castillo said the Air Force already deployed investigators to the crash site for further investigation. The entire fleet of SF-260s has since been grounded as part of its standard operating procedure. Castillo added that the PAF will extend all the necessary assistance and support to the bereaved families of the pilots.
Meanwhile, an intensified search continues for a Cessna 206 plane that went missing in Isabela on Tuesday. The aircraft had 6 people on board, including the pilot. The private plane departed from Kawayan Airport at around 2:15 in the afternoon yesterday. It was bound for the town of Makunakon. CAAP was alerted of the missing plane when it did not land at its estimated time of arrival of 2:45 p.m. The location of the plane has reportedly been identified, but rescuers could not begin search and rescue operations due to strong winds. Now, after the break, MRT passengers hit its highest number in 2 years. The question is, can the transport system handle all of that? We'll be speaking with MRT3 General Manager Engineer Federico Canar Jr. when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
story here on One News.
Passenger volume at MRT3 has passed its pre-pandemic records. Is it a sign that things are back to normal? Here's what we know. Close to 400,000 passengers rode the MRT3 last Friday. That is the highest daily tally on record since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Prior to that, average daily ridership at the MRT3 had been steadily rising over the last 2 years. Daily passenger volume more than doubled in 2022 as COVID restrictions eased and more people returned to work.
Aside from that, the government's Libreng Sakay program in the MRT3 and other modes of transport helped encourage more commuters. The resumption of in-person classes also added to the demand for public transportation. However, this increase in demand, along with higher operational costs, have prompted government to consider privatizing the operations and maintenance of the MRT3. Data showed that the government spends almost 9 billion pesos a year in maintaining the railway. Plans to privatize the MRT3 will undergo a series of consultations with stakeholders to determine the best possible course of action. Several groups, however, are worried that privatizing the MRT3 could result in fare hikes.
Here to discuss with us the increased passenger volume at MRT3, we have Mr. Federico Canal Jr., General Manager of MRT3. Good evening. Welcome to the Big Story, Mr. Canal.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Well, so first of all, sir, this must be good news, certainly for the economy. We're seeing more and more people going back to work, riding our public transport. Ridership is at a record high. But I guess the question is, kamusta naman ang MRT3? Kakayanin ba?
Sir, kung kakayanin, ang sagot ko po ay totoo po yun, kakayanin. Itong records natin ng Friday, January 20, na 345,000 passengers. Kaya ko po nasabing kakayanin kasi po, number one, ang mga bagon po natin, ang total na bilang po niyan ay 72 na bagon. So ang tumatakbo lang po ngayon yan, maximum sa 18 train sets per day, yung during peak hours, ay 54 lang po ang tumatakbo. So meron po tayong spare na 18 na hindi nasasakyan. So yan po ang kasalukuyan ngayong bilang ng tumatakbong bagon. So hindi lang po yan, lahat po yung 72 na rolling stocks ay readily available kasi po katatapos lang lahat-lahat na nag-undergone ng rehabilitation and rehabilitation po yung lahat ng 72 to general overhaul. Na-overhaul po yan thoroughly and lahat po yan ay in good condition.
Okay. Yung kondisyon po ng mga bagon natin, yung pag-andar ng mga tren, those are obviously very important indicators of capacity. Pero ang isa pang indicator, yung pila, pasakay. Ano naman itsura nun? Kung tumatakbo lahat and kinakaya ang capacity para i-meet ang demand, how is that being manifest in terms of people waiting in line?
Sir, in the past, may nakita kaming problema noon nang nagkakaroon ng congestion sa pila. At yan po ay binigyan namin ng solusyon para ma-address po yan. Sinegregate po namin yung may mga malalaking bagahe at yun lang po pinadadaan namin sa x-ray. Yung may mga maliliit na bagahe like yung knapsack sa likod na madaling silipin, hiniwalay po namin, nagdalawa kaming pila. So in that way, napabilis po namin ang pagpasok ng mga pasahero and at the same time, na-address po yung queuing ng passengers.
Sir, di naman po kaila sa atin na marami pang pwedeng ma-improve itong train lines po natin. Particular na po dun po sa proseso, we can still modernize it. Kumbaga, we can also use different payments, mode of payments rather. Are you in favor of having the MRT3 privatized? Given nga po lumalaki na po yung demand, tumataas rin po yung operational cost, kayo po, ano pong pananaw po niyo doon?
Sa amin po, ready kaming i-privatize. Depende po sa decision ng upper management.
Opo, pero sa ngayon po, ano po ba yung pagkakaiba nung privatized sa current situation natin, no? To be able to give our lawmakers also some insight into what needs to be done to improve also the maintenance and capacity?
In terms of improvement po, talagang improve na po yung reliability ng ating trains. Yung dating nagbibilang ng ilang beses nag-download ng mga passengers, halos zero na po yun, yung downloading ng passengers. So, ang dating nagbibilang ng mga 2-3 digits, nawala na po yun. So, in terms of readiness, totoo po yun. Ready po ang MRT3 sa pag-cater ng volume of passengers. Historically, nung panahon ng in 2012, August, nagkaroon po kami ng pinakamataas na ridership ng MRT3, totaling 622,880 passengers. Yun po ang maximum historically na nasakay namin. In that way, on the basis of that, masasabi po namin na sa ngayon po, ang volume ng passenger ay ma-address po namin.
Okay, in the meantime, sir, isang pahabol na lang po. Any reminders for our riding public, especially sa health protocols? Meron pa po bang health protocols na dapat maintindihan at malaman ng ating mga kababayan?
Ang ating protocols po sa ngayon, tuloy-tuloy po yung ating pagpapa-implement ng pagsusuot ng face mask, pagbabawal sa pagkipag-usap sa katabing pasahero. Kontrolado po yan ng ating yung mga security guards. Sila po ay pinapakita na may nakasulat pong nakasulat na hawak nila na please minimize talking or refrain from talking. And another one po na sumusunod tayo sa health restrictions ay ito pong pagpapa-implement pa rin natin, although may hina na yung bilang ng COVID, yung mga variants. Ang ating pong trend pagdating sa dulo, sa North Station, and pagdating din sa kabilang dulo, sa South, sa Top Avenue Station, papasok po dyan ang mga sa bilang about 10 persons, papahiran, i-sprayhan po yung mga upuan, papahiran yung mga hawakan ng alcohol to protect the riding public.
Sir, pero curious lang ako, no? Bakit nga po ba sa tingin po ninyo umabot ng 400,000 nung Friday? Meron po bang nangyari? O talagang tumataas lang?
Ma'am, kahit ako personally, ini-expect ko yan. Kasi kung matatandaan niyo po, yung carousel, tinigil na nila yung free ride. And therefore, naniningil na sila. So ang mga pasahero po, na gustong sumakay sa carousel, dumadaan po, inaalaw po namin sila makadaan sa aming sa loob mismo ng istasyon. So, may option po ngayon ng yung pasahero. Pag nakita nila sa carousel na mahabang pila, dadaan sila ngayon sa MRT3 na mura ang pasahe, ay mura ang yung stored value cards. Ang option po nila ay dito na lang ako bibili. Medyo maginhawa pa, malamig pa. So, yun po ang naging ang nakita ko, ako mismo personally, masasabi ko na may contribution po sa pagtaas ng ridership namin ang pagtigil ng libreng sakay.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Engineer Federico Canar Jr., General Manager po ng MRT3. After the break, sales of SIM cards took a dip after government-imposed mandatory SIM registration. We'll get more details from DICT Undersecretary Ana Lamentillo when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
sales reportedly dropped on the back of the implementation of the SIM Card Registration Act. Here's what we know. The measure, which requires the registration of SIM cards, started on December 27 last year. The SIM Card Registration Act aims to regulate the use of SIM cards in the country in a bid to fight all forms of cybercrime. But barely a month into its implementation, the Department of Information and Communications Technology says SIM card sales have gone down, citing reports of distributors and resellers. DICT Secretary Ivan John Uy attributes this decline to the decreasing number of scammers or syndicates buying SIM cards for their schemes. Uy explains scammers used to buy SIM cards in bulk to carry out cybercrimes, which they can't do now given the registration requirement. Now, as of Tuesday, the number of registered SIM cards has hit over 24.9 million. That's 14.75% of the around 169 million subscribers in the country.
Here to tell us more about this drop in SIM card sales, we have with us on the show DICT Undersecretary Ana May Lamentillo. She's joining us over the line. Undersecretary, welcome to the big story.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sir Robbie and Ms. Gretchen. Thank you very much for having me in your show.
Is there any other way to read into this trend of pababa yung sales ng SIM other than this is an impact of the SIM card registration law?
Well, we always predicted with the telcos that we won't actually reach 100% registration. There's about 161 active SIM cards now, but we don't think that they'd register, that all 161 million subscribers will register on April 26. It's because SIM cards that have been used on scams prior to the enactment of the law would opt not to register their particular SIM cards. There will also be voluntary deactivations from some citizens who are using multiple SIM cards. And I think there are added regulations, especially for minors.
Okay, so malinaw yan. Certainly, scammers will not bother to register theirs. So, but we also reported it's about, if I heard that right, it's less than 15% who have so far registered their prepaid SIM cards. So that does not necessarily represent the entire universe of SIM cards that we expect to register. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, our target now is about 1 million SIM cards per day, and we are on target. I guess it's only a matter of information dissemination, and today we started the rollout in remote areas.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the major challenges in getting people to register their SIM cards, particularly po dun po sa far-flung areas, also with information dissemination?
I guess it's harder because we need to understand the limits of an archipelagical country like the Philippines. 65% of the country is still not connected to the internet. This is something that we are working on. We have a backlog on digital infrastructure. We're trying to be more aggressive in the next few months, but it will take time for us to be able to increase the connectivity at the pace that we want. But I'm happy to report that the trajectory of the complaint is in a downward level. In other words, we've been receiving about 400 complaints before, and now we're down to about 20 to 40.
Ma'am, is there a realistic timeline that you've set to get majority of people to register their SIM cards?
Well, the deadline provided for by law is April 26. So it's DICT would have the prerogative under the law to extend it for another 120 days. But right now, no decision has been made. So we are only looking at the April 26 deadline. We are doing our best to ensure the information dissemination campaign is effective. So we're really trying our best to reach the far-flung areas. In the next 3 days, we will be going in 15 remote areas and we expect that this will have an impact as far as the registration is concerned. We also try to take advantage of the festivals like the Dinagyang in Iloilo and the Sinulog in Cebu. So we use the festival as a platform to inform the public about the need for SIM registration.
Ma'am, paano naman po yung kasi we're talking about SIM registration, but we also passed and implemented this law to be able to fight scammers. When can we expect exactly the effects of the SIM Registration Act?
I think the beauty of the law is the certainty of accountability. Ibig pong sabihin, dati, yung mga one-time use SIM cards, the government has no way of policing them because we are not able to trace kung sino po yung gumagamit ng SIM card. With the enactment of the law, especially after the deadline is completed, all the SIM cards will be registered. They will have an identity. Ibig pong sabihin, we will have a way of, kahit kung itapon nila yung SIM cards after using it, we will have a way of knowing who owns them. But this is also, we want to remind everyone that the sale of stolen SIM cards is prohibited by law at hindi lang po kayo ma-penalize ng fine. Makukulong din po kayo. There are penal provisions relating to the use of stolen SIM cards, using the sale of stolen SIM cards, and other actionable acts related to text-related scams. Example, yung mga telco po, pati po yung kanilang mga staff, pinapaalalahanan po namin sila na hindi po nila pwedeng ibenta o disclose yung personal information na naukuha nila during the course of the registration process because this is penalized by law. At hindi lang po sila magbabayad ng penalty, makukulong din po sila. Ang tawag po dyan is breach of confidentiality and breach of confidentiality due to negligence.
Okay. Undersecretary Ana May Lamentillo ng DICT. Maraming salamat po.
And before we go, stores offering product refills are not a new idea, but having it available in sari-sari stores is definitely something new. The San Juan LGU, along with Greenpeace Philippines and Impact Hub, have come together for Kuha sa Tingi. Currently, its pilot program, the KST, is an initiative that enables sari-sari stores to offer product refills of various daily essentials in tingi quantities. Now, the public can purchase different commodities such as shampoo and body wash, dishwashing liquid, liquid detergent, and fabric conditioner in smaller quantities, hence the term tingi-tingi. The goal is to reduce the selling of items in plastic sachets, which bring harm to the environment.
Tatakali natin, bibili siya ng 10 pesos. Puput lang natin na ganyan. And then, pagkatapos, ito na yung halagang 10 pesos, ililipat natin doon sa refillable bottle.
Actually, itong Kuha sa Tingi is not just environmentally sustainable, but it's also financially sustainable. So, dahil sa mura siya, maraming bumibili.
That's a great way to sell.
No, sounds like a good idea. We hope it works. At the very least, we hope we get some lessons out of it.
Sana pwede rin sibuyas, no? Kung magluluto ka, saka ka bibili.
Tingi-tingi na nga sila ng bayan sibuyas. That's the big story tonight. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. You may also log on to onenews.ph for more analysis. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
The Big Star is also available via Signal Play app. Make your free account now at signalplay.com and stream One News anytime, anywhere. Ako po si Gretchen Ho. Stay safe, Philippines.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.